Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Well, we started Psalm 43 yesterday and we read from Luke chapter 18, and that's going to be our commentary to help us with Psalm 43 because Psalm 43 and the story of the faithful widow and the unjust judge, they're so similar. So we're going to be studying this outline for prayer, or this outline about prayer. First, prayer begins with submission, and then we have the request. That's all in verse 1. The request is simple. Deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man, or in the widow's case, avenge me of my adversary. Now we're going to come to today, verse 2. We're going to talk about patient endurance in prayer. So let me read for us here, verse 2. For thou art the God of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? Why do I go mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? So the problem for the widow in Luke chapter 18 in the parable that Jesus told was that she had an adversary. And apparently the adversary had made life miserable for her, so she went to the judge, submitted to his judgment, made her request, avenge me of my adversary, and the judge did nothing. So she continues to go back, and she goes back, and she goes back, and she goes back. Here we have, verse 2, we have this confident statement of faith. You're the God of my strength. And then we have the question, why have you cast me off? And I'm sure the widow asked that very same question to the judge. Why doesn't he answer? Why doesn't he adjudicate? Why doesn't he make his decision and give me, relief from this oppression that I'm under? And David has the same question. Why have you cast me off? You've not answered my prayer. You're the God of my strength. I depend on you. So the confident confession of faith is followed by, if that's the case, then why? Why have you cast me off? Why do I go mourning? You're the God of my strength. So what's going on here? I don't understand. Well, you remember in Luke chapter 18, let me just go back here to Luke 18 again. It says in verse 4, he would not for a while, that is the unjust judge. But afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God nor regard man, yet because this widow troubles me, I will avenge her. So the widow continues to go because she is exhibiting patient endurance in prayer. We don't always get what we ask for when we pray the first time. It's wonderful when that happens, and we delight in it, because it's fresh on our minds, and then we see the hand of God work, and we rejoice over that. But sometimes we ask, and we ask, and we ask, and we go on asking maybe for a long time, maybe years, and nothing ever happens. Perhaps what we're doing is exhibiting patient endurance. Don't give up. Don't give up. If your prayer is a godly prayer, if you're not wanting to spend your prayer upon your own lusts and desires, and that, friend, is something that you need to judge, go over and read James. James tells us about that. You have not because you ask not. And when you ask amiss because you ask so that you can spend it on your lust, on your desires. So you need to figure out, is this a prayer that God's not going to answer because it's ungodly? Or am I praying right and he's going to answer this prayer, but I just have to be patient because it's not his time yet. And he wants to glorify himself in this prayer. And sometimes when the Lord really wants to glorify himself, it takes a while. So be patient, endure, just like the widow. Keep going back, keep praying. It's not that you're going to eventually wear God down, because he's not going to be worn down by you, but it is that he wants to see your patient endurance and your faith. He wants to see you continue to ask because we've placed ourselves under him, right? We submitted ourselves because we said, judge me. And here I am. I'm humbling myself before you, and I'm going to accept whatever it is that you decide. Even if it's not what I want, judge me. Make your request and then just keep staying right there with it. Don't go away from it. Don't move off of it. Because if you move off of it, what does that tell the Lord? Well, it tells him that you really weren't serious about it in the first place, or you got used to it. No, if you really are going to stay with it, stay with it. Be patient. Endure. David says, why have you cast me off? Well, David is really speaking our language, isn't he? He's speaking our language here. You've cast me off. Why do I go mourning? You're the God of my strength. Why do I go mourning because of the enemy? Yeah, I'm sure the widow asked that same question. So friends, whenever we pray, the important part is that we're to stay with it, be faithful, continue to pray, because God hears and answers prayer. And if you believe that, if you've submitted yourself to him, then just wait. He's going to come and he's going to answer that prayer. How wonderful. Well, I hope that you will join me again tomorrow. We're going to look at the prayer answered in its potential in verse 3. And I'll see you then here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.